But one of the things I loved watching you do was run a drag screen. And I remember anytime Gilas played and I'd see you bringing the ball down, my friends and family all hate me for this because I'd always be yelling at the TV. I'd always be yelling, drag screen, drag screen. I'd always be like, Marcus, give him a drag screen. Like, fourth quarter, first quarter, didn't matter. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was Gilas to run drag screens for Jimmy Alapag every possession down, and I was willing to live with it. Talk to me like I'm an idiot. Talk to me like I'm a basketball fan, but I don't know the language that you guys use. What's a drag screen? Why was it something that, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but was so effective for you in your career?
No, no, for sure. It was something that I looked for probably every possession because when you hear people say drag screen, immediately the first thought that comes to mind is that it's a screen that happens in transition. And
Right.
the reason why a drag screen is so dangerous is because especially teams that play with pace, when the guard's pushing the ball up that sideline, the defense is kind of in a scramble mode because they're trying to get their matchups. Sometimes you might have cross matchups. And so while all that's going on and the defense is trying to communicate and trying to pick up who they're supposed to have, as all that's happening, now you have your big guy literally sprinting into this drag screen to where, if you have a guard who can shoot off the screen or get downhill, it creates a lot of problems. Or even, flipping the screen and making it a punch screen to where you're attacking on the baseline side. Um, it just opens up so much, not only from a scoring perspective, but by getting into the lane, like we just talked about, whether it's the Baroka, PJ Simone, James Yap floater, which is so popular in the game now as opposed to 10, 15 years ago, um, except for maybe Mock Cardona. Um, but just getting a paint touch, you have guys who can get to the rim. Now you're opening up kickouts to the corners or the throwback passes to the stretch four or stretch five. So it just opens up so much on the court. And again, for teams that play with pace and really put pressure on the defense to push the ball and get the team kind of in that scramble defensive, setup, getting that early drag screen, can really create a lot of problems. And yeah, it was a favorite of mine. Watching guys like Steve Nash and Stockton run it all the time. It can literally pick apart a defense. And so, yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites.
Do you have a favorite drag screen partner? And what actually makes a good drag screen partner? Maybe who this favorite is and what made him so good at it.
Um, well, during my PBA days, for sure, Ronadell and Harvey. Ronaldo Del Campo, Harvey Carey, because, with Harvey, he was so great at the timing of the screen. He knew when to slip, when to get some contact. I think maybe it was his ability and his vision of seeing the guy defending me
Mm-hmm.
and what he needed to do. But whether it was a slip or whether it was a solid screen, it was always such a hard dive. And he just kind of had a knack to find the gap to where as soon as I turned the corner, that window would be open to make that pocket pass. And he was there all the time. Um, and with Ronadell, again, we used to work on it so much. Like with Harvey and it was more just kind of I just always knew where he was going to be. With Ronadell, when he came over to Talking Text, it was something that we worked on, and it got to the point where I knew where he would be, and whether it was Ronadell rolling to the basket and finishing at the rim, or his ability to stretch out and pick and pop. I mean, it was one of our go-to plays at the end game. So those two guys for sure. And then when we went to Gilas, having Ronadell there and then having Ping there, very similar to Harvey in terms of his reads and his dives and being able to get into the paint. And then again, that dang one arm floater in the paint. Yes, those three guys stand out for sure.
Something going on around the island. Straight fire when we vibing, promise.